The 2011 annual McDonald's report states that there are currently over 33,000 McDonald's restaurants worldwide, as well as over 1.7 million people employed by this massive global company. This number could have easily increased into the current 2012 year, maybe even to 2 million employees. The report states that McDonald's currently serves approximately 68 million people in a single day. Doesn't that sound ridiculous? That one company can employ and serve more people than the entire population of some countries. I was fascinated by this and wanted to find out how this happened and how this global giant relates to the process of globalization.
I'm loving it.
So let's give you a brief history of this company. Where did it all begin? In the year 1948, in San Bernardino, California, McDonald's was founded by brothers Dick and Mac McDonald. The menu consisted of only a few items, namely hamburgers, cheeseburgers, soft drinks, milk, coffee, potato chips, and a slice of pie. In 1955, Ray Kroc became the nationwide franchising agent for McDonald's and opened up his first McDonald's restaurant in Des Plaines, Illinois. By 1958, just 3 years later, McDonald's has sold its 100 millionth burger. And by 1959, McDonald's opened up its 100th restaurant, which is located in Dulac, Wisconsin. That just shows you the rapid expansion of the company and how in the space of just 9 years since being founded, McDonald's expanded their empire in America to 100 restaurants, and this was obviously just the beginning. In 1961, Ray Kroc purchased the interest of the McDonald brothers, Dick and Mac, and the rights to the McDonald's name for just $2.7 million. And then, just 2 years later, McDonald's celebrated its 500th restaurant built in America, as well as selling its 1 billionth burger. This rapid expansion with regards to the construction of McDonald's restaurants in America has led the United States to look like this in the 2012 year. All the red dots illustrate the location of various McDonald's restaurants. Amazing, isn't it? How one company can occupy so much land and property in a single country, more than any healthcare centers or retail outlets or airports or hotels. Think about this. How much land was bought or leased for these restaurants? How much money was spent on the construction of all of these properties? What are the value of these properties and land? How much energy and water are consumed by all of these restaurants for their operations? In 1965, McDonald's had its first public offering for $22.50 per share. This is where everything changed. And in 1967, McDonald's went global, building their first restaurants outside of America in Canada and Puerto Rico. Now, to this day, McDonald's operates in 119 countries around the world. Some say that McDonald's itself is a symbol of globalization. Looking at this map, I can clearly see why. If you seriously take a look at it, it's crazy. That is virtually our entire planet. I came across this humorous quote of what globalization is, and the person who wrote it said if you want to know what globalization is, look at Princess Diana's death. She was an English princess with an Egyptian boyfriend, and she crashed in a French tunnel, driving a German car with a Dutch engine, driven by a Belgian who was drunk on Scottish whiskey, followed closely by Italian paparazzi on Japanese motorcycles, treated by an American doctor, using Brazilian medicines. This is sent to you by a Pole, using Bill Gates' technology, and you're probably reading or hearing this through your computer, that uses Taiwanese chips and Korean monitors, assembled by Bangladeshi workers in a Singapore plant, transported by Indian lorry drivers, hijacked by Indonesians, unloaded by Sicilian longshoremen, and trucked to you by illegal Mexican workers. Now this might seem funny to you all, but looking at all of these different countries, let's take a look and see if McDonald's operates in each of them. So now you probably get the point. McDonald's has expanded itself into almost every country, Eastern and Western countries. And something else which you probably noticed is that the food served in each country is different, to the extent where they even serve beer in Germany and curry in India. Before doing research, I never knew this. It's clear that McDonald's doesn't only have a global view of expansion and creating a globalized perception of the company, but they've also adapted their views in accordance to the cultural dynamics and varying culinary palates of each country. McDonald's has both a global and local strategy. The term used to explain this is globalization. Best put, this is where a company thinks globally and acts locally. On a global scale, the golden arches in the McDonald's logo are the symbol which everyone realizes. It's the symbol which relates to any fast food consumer. The restaurants are developed with similar colors and finishes, the menus and sauces, and certain meals like the Big Mac are served globally. Yet, on a local level, the menus are adapted to the consumer, the specific consumer in the local market of each country. Therefore, McDonald's does not serve one generic menu globally, but rather accommodates for everybody's different cultural backgrounds and tastes. This might be why McDonald's has been able to enter the globalized market on such a rapid level with such great success. It's fast, easy, cheap, and accommodates for cultural differences all around the world. I'm loving it. So with McDonald's being such a global giant in world markets, how was it affected by the 2007-2008 global financial crisis? This is just a brief overview, but McDonald's was actually not as badly affected by the global crisis as many others were. Many analysts believed that McDonald's would benefit from the recovery of the crisis and that sales would increase due to the way the company is positioned in the global market. And they were not entirely wrong. McDonald's saw a global comparable sales growth of 3.8% in January 2009, just after the financial crisis. One of the real negative effects which McDonald's faced was having to exit the Iceland market. The Iceland market suffered so badly from the crisis that McDonald's was forced to leave. as can be seen by this article. With this being said, however, McDonald's did not suffer as much in other countries. In the current 2012 year, it is said that the company is riding out the current gloomy global economic climate better than most others. In June of this quarter, McDonald's saw higher revenues, operating income, and earnings per share compared with the same period last year. It is believed that since the global financial crisis, consumers everywhere are actually trading down in terms of their expenditure towards food. And quick service restaurants like McDonald's, who rely on cheaper grinding beef, are actually benefiting from this global trend. In layman's terms, consumers continue to favor cheaper priced products as they downtrade in their purchasing preferences, just like the analysts thought due to the positioning of McDonald's in the global market. It almost seems as if McDonald's is positioned perfectly in this global economy, because if the global economy does well, more opportunities open for the company, and if the economy hits a down period, McDonald's is able to continue growth due to their positioning as well as their colossal customer base. I'm loving it. Now, back to the map of McDonald's. Something else is very interesting, which you may have noticed earlier, and that is Africa. It's clear to see that McDonald's has decided to focus its developments in the more developed areas of Africa, like South Africa, i.e. Cape Town and Johannesburg, for example. I found this rather interesting, as this map is similar to the one of the nations represented by the G20. Yes, it's not entirely the same, but it is very similar. When Cyril Ramaphosa, the head of McDonald's in South Africa, was asked whether he intends to expand into the rest of the continent, he replied that South Africa has immense opportunity for the company, and the strategy is therefore to focus on South Africa. He did not say that they would go into Africa in the future, but he also never said that they wouldn't. It might also be the question of risk and whether developed nations are simply not willing to invest in these developing African nations due to their current circumstances. I believe that only time will tell, but my personal opinion is that as African economies develop, McDonald's will definitely cement its footprints in these developing nations and eventually have its global brand imprinted on virtually the entire globe. And we will be looking at a McDonald's map in the future where Africa will be covered in red. So, with all this being said, I guess there's only one thing left to say. I'm loving it.